To have a successful life, you have to be confident in who you are. And I think for a lot of people, most people, that starts with the outward appearance. If you don't like the way you look, you're not going to feel good about yourself, which means internally, you're not going to be confident in decision making. You're not going to be confident in anything. Having beautiful hair that I loved and looking in the mirror and liking what I saw, it made me love my internal self.
Dreads have been around for thousands of years through hundreds of different cultures. Our entire brand is built off of confidence. It's not built off of synthetic dreadlocks. Confidence comes from doing the things that you say you're going to do. When you don't do them, you lower your confidence in yourself.
The why behind Dreadful Hippie is to empower people. Not just to give them confidence in the way they look, but to empower them to be confident, to have the life that they want. We just really want to help people be empowered to make decisions in what they do and be confident behind that. And we want to show people how to live the life that they want. Like, that's why we love sharing our stories, because we came from nothing. Like, we had nothing.
Less than nothing.
Yeah. I think the one thing is just give. Like, give, and you will receive.
So give more, get more, ask God, and get to work. This is podcast number 8. We are here with Ellie and Dallas. They are from Dreadful Hippie. You guys do hair dreads on the top of people's heads, right?
Yep.
Synthetic dreadlock extensions.
You guys have been doing this for 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Tell me exactly how you guys got started, when you guys started, and where you're at now.
Cool. So I started it, basically where it all started from. All growing up, I had 2 best friends who always had like box braids and cornrows, and I just thought they were the most beautiful people on the planet, and I always wanted to look like them. So their mom would try and replicate those hairstyles on me, and I have photos of us 3 girls as little kids with all these like little like unique hairstyles. And I don't know, I just have always grown up loving unique hairstyles, and dreadlocks was just the one that always kind of like stuck with me. So I wanted them, but knew I couldn't have them because growing up, my hair was so thin, so fragile. Like, it wouldn't grow past my shoulders. Like the teeny tiny little hair elastics, like that's what I used for ponytails. Like, I couldn't use like the full on actual ponytail. And so when I was 17, like I was pinning like dreadlock photos on my Pinterest board all the time. And during that time, so that was 2016, I was 17 years old in high school, and I hated the way I felt about myself. I hated the way I looked, and that just originated from my hair. So I was like, okay, well,
Because it wasn't growing?
Yeah, just because every girl wants long, luscious, beautiful hair, and like my mom and my sisters have beautiful hair, and I just didn't get the good genetics, I guess. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess the only like solution here is I can work for a couple years to save up to be able to afford human hair extensions, to like lengthen my hair. And then it dawned on me, it was like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. That if there's human hair extensions, there's gotta be a way to make dreadlock extensions, right? So I took the last $37 that I had in my bank account, and I purchased some Barbie hair, and I messed around for a few months until I found a way to be able to make them for myself. And then the next step was trying to figure out how to attach them. So I was like bobby pinning them to my hair. I was like tying them into my hair.
You bought Barbie hair?
Yeah. So
no way.
These are Barbie hair.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
How many Barbies does it take to make a dread?
So it's not like we're like scalping Barbies, right? So they come in big jumbo braids of hair.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I literally thought you were like getting Barbies and like taking them off.
Just weaving them together.
So I messed around until I was able to figure out you can literally braid them into your hair. They don't cause any damage. It's easy enough. Like, you can either do it on yourself, or you can teach a spouse or a friend, or go to a salon and do it. Like, I taught him how to do it, and he puts mine in for me now. They attach very easily. Anyways, in high school, I was writing an English paper for a college class, and we had to write a 20-page business proposal idea. And so I had made these for myself, and I had a friend approach me asking me to make them some. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just take this idea and kind of run with it. Well, next thing I know, I have multiple people asking me to make them some. And so I posted a little ad on Facebook Marketplace, sold some on there, and then I moved over to Etsy. and started selling on there. And that's.
And when you're selling, are you actually like implementing, like putting them in the hair, or are you just selling the braids individually?
So when I first started, it was me just braiding it for a couple months, and then once I jumped on Etsy, I started shipping them.
Cool.
Within a few weeks, I actually had, I think my first order went to like somewhere over in Europe, like my first international went somewhere in Europe. But now I would say like 99% of our orders, like we just ship it, and we have some educational videos on YouTube on how to put them into your hair. And
Is it that hard? Like, could I do it myself?
yeah, like
You
it's
could.
very easy. We seriously have people who do it on themselves all the time, or they'll grab their husbands and teach their husbands who have never braided in their entire life how to do it.
How long do they last?
So you can leave them in your hair for about 6 to 8 weeks, depending on like your personal hair growth and how fast it grows. But they will last you your entire life. Like I've had this same set for
No
5.5
way.
years.
Can you take them out and then put them back in?
Yeah,
Wild. So I remember you had some a while back.
you had them.
I just took them out a couple weeks ago.
If you guys want to see a picture, I can post a picture of it after the video.
fun.
But he looked like a Viking with his hair back. It was amazing.
Yeah, I got to put them back in here soon.
So you still have them? They just sit in the like a little closet. Do you guys
Yeah.
wash them?
Right
So
now
we
they're
actually have
sitting in our
boxes.
drawer.
We have
That is
boxes
cool.
that come with your name, like embossed in gold, and it's like a little storage box that you can store them in when you're not wearing them.
That's sweet. Can you wash them? Like when you take them out?
I mean, you can wash them while you have them in too.
Really?
So-
I thought it takes out like the tangles or the curls.
No. There's like a lot of like stereotypes around dreads. Most the reason why people think you can't wash dreads is because real dreadlocks, if not taken care of properly, they can mold because it's hard for the liquid or the
moisture
water
in there.
to come out.
Yeah.
Where these are synthetic, so the water runs right through them. So this actually dries faster than my normal hair.
Real dreadlocks, like when they like mash your hair together.
Yeah, real dreadlocks are your hair. So that's like why I couldn't do it originally, because my hair was so thin. Like if I did real dreads, they would be this long and I'd have like 5 of them. Because like I just didn't
Really?
have a lot of hair.
Should look like the Island Boys.
Yeah.
Oh no, not the island.
So yeah, so a few reasons I like synthetic is because I like to be able to go back to my natural hair every once in a while, get a nice good wash in, just enjoy my natural hair. Another reason is I like switching my colors up. So I've been blonde, I've been pink, I've done half black, half green, without having to dye or bleach my hair or damage it in any way. Yeah, just
How much do these dreads cost?
so it depends on like what you get. Obviously, we have different price points, but you need between 9 and 12 packs for a full head, which is anywhere from like 700 to 1,000, depending on like the color, the style that you have.
It's kind of like getting
Yeah.
extensions for your hair, but
Except
these
the
are going to
difference
last.
is these will last you
Yeah.
forever, and human hair extensions last you 9 to 12 months if you're lucky.
Wait, that's worth it then.
Yeah.
I want to buy some just to
Yeah.
have them for like later. My hair grows out.
Yeah, so that's yeah. I
That's
think so.
amazing. So you guys started this 5 years ago. You started off on Facebook Marketplace, moved over to Etsy.
And now we have our own website that we.
I saw that.
So
When you first started, were you guys scared of getting clients? Like getting people to attract to your business?
no, because when I first started, it wasn't supposed to be a business. Like I didn't go into it thinking, hey, I'm gonna get clients from this. It was I had them myself, and then I had people approaching me about it, which made me need a website or a shop or something.
It wasn't
So-
really supposed to be a business.
It
was
wasn't.
It was supposed to be just for herself.
But
And
this-
friends started asking, and then random people.
It's like
and-
every time I go out in public, every single time without fail, people come up and talk to me about my dreads. They're like, those are so beautiful. Where'd you get them? Or I just love them. Or I've always wanted dreadlocks. And it's just a great.
You are a walking promoter for your
Yeah.
own business. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
Literally. I am a walking, talking billboard.
Is that why you got him as well? Because you honestly, you looked sick with them as well. Like you guys both together. It
It was
was
fun. So she had been doing it for a couple years by the time we had met. And so,
We met 4 years ago, and that's when he kind of started with me.
yeah, and my hair had just gotten long enough that we put dreads in my hair when we were like, dating for 2 or 3 months probably at that point.
And then the love happened.
Yeah.
You guys both had dreads at that point. You're like, we're getting married.
Pretty much
9
like
months
from
later,
the
we got married, and then a few months after that, he quit his job and went full-time with Dreadful Hippie.
Was that a scary decision that you had to make?
it was.
I bawled. I was mortified. I was terrified.
Yeah, the day I told her, I'm like, look, because at that point, like, I guess, like, take a couple steps back. Like, when we first started dating, like, I've always been, like, super crafty just from, like, scout camp. And, like, I actually, like, on road trips, I'm the middle child of 7 kids. So it's like on road trips, I sat behind my sisters, and they would make me, like, braid their hair because we were stuck in a Suburban for 20 hours straight. So I learned how to braid hair when I was, like, 6 or 7. I wasn't any good at it, but I could do it. And so, like, from the time we started dating, I started helping her make dreads from, like, I don't know, 2 weeks in to dating. And then, so we'd stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning making dreads all while we were dating, engaged. And then by the time we were married, our story is like, I was working with a software company, like a software startup, so I wasn't even making any money. She was paying the bills strictly from the profits of Dreadful Hippie.
This is when you first got married?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're in training at this point at this tech company?
Well, it was like 5 of us trying to, like, just business to business sales, and, like, I wasn't any good at it. I was
The
not.
reason it stressed me out was because when we first got married, we were 60 grand in debt. Being newlyweds, 60 grand in debt, and then your husband, who, granted, wasn't making money at his job, but then says he's gonna quit. I was like,
It was a lot of pressure.
it was a
How do you have that faith to just jump into something?
Well, at that point, I was like, no one really knew it, but I was the one who was DMing 90% of our customers on Instagram.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't really care to do all the DMs and, like, use emojis and act all cute.
I'm just not
I would
one of
act
those.
like her.
Really? I thought it would be opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
the one who uses all the emojis, like,
always
oh,
like,
girl,
"Hey,
you're so
girl."
cute. Like, you look so good with this color, because we get a lot of inquiries through DMs, like, hey, what colors would be best? I got really good at just being like, hey, you would look good in this one, this one, this one, this one. Do this, like, buy this many packs or whatever.
So you're customizing it for the customer. You're DMing all the people.
Yeah.
And then you're making the dreads, right? And installing them on their head?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
So you guys are like a power team. You're
Yeah.
working full time, plus you're doing this on the side. And you're
We
like,
do
I'm
this
just
till
gonna hop
like
in.
1 or 2 in the morning, and then
my gosh.
wake up at that point we were waking up at like 4:30 to go to the gym and read books and then go to work and whatnot.
You guys are 60 grand in debt. Did you guys think of like, maybe we should quit? Maybe we should go do something else and get full time?
No.
I never thought that. We had a lot of people telling us that we should do that, but it never once crossed our mind.
And it's hard because it's like the people we care about, you know, like close friends and family are like, well,
Yeah.
maybe you should get a part-time job. It's like, we don't have time for a part-time job. Do you want me to be like cleaning a warehouse from 1 to 4 in the morning? 'Cause that's the only time that I have, but I won't sleep.
Yeah, that's hard.
So it was hard, but it felt right to keep going because we were 60 grand in debt. No one really knows this, but like we had the repo man coming after my Jeep because I hadn't made the payment in like 3 or 4 months.
That's
we
a
made-
scary thing.
We literally
was
didn't
scary.
know. There were multiple times where we were like, I don't know how we're making rent tomorrow, like at all. Like we would be like days behind on rent and then magically like,
You get
An
few
order
clients.
would
yeah.
come in.
And we would like be screaming in the basement like, holy, like we can pay rent. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was exhilarating.
Were you ever scared that you weren't gonna be able to eat or like?
Oh, there were days
times
like,
that we didn't.
Oh my!
There
So
was-
we'd have
there
like,
was- yeah.
we spent our last $12 in cash on Taco Bell or whatever one day. And then the rest, it's like we had enough gas to drive from Sandy all the way down to Santaquin to go eat dinner with her family. It was all worth it though. And by the time I quit, she was already paying all of the bills for her at least. Like we already decided like, okay, like we're struggling, whose credit is going to take the hit? And it was mine. Obviously we've got it back up and stuff, so we're not really worried about it. But
Yeah.
at the time,
were you getting like loans out, like, personal loans to be
No.
able to? No.
all of our credit cards
there
were
was
maxed
no
out.
way we would have been able to get.
They were all
Guys,
maxed
I would be
out.
so stressed at this point. Like I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
How did you guys know like what direction to take?
Honestly, I'm just having a really great relationship with God. Like
Really?
that's really what it boiled down to.
It all like, so like the next part of the story that's like super fun is just the fact that like I quit my job and 2 weeks later we actually got our Etsy shop shut down. So
and
basically,
that was mortifying.
yeah, it was scary.
That's like your only source of income right now, right?
It was
Yeah.
the only
The-
source of income.
And you just quit that.
Like we
Wow.
got, yeah,
We
our,
just woke up one day and it was like, you've got $600 worth of funds that we're going to withhold until whatever. Well, almost 3 years later, and we still haven't gotten that $600 back.
so we had to learn how to build a website. And so it got shut down one day before rent was due. So in 3 days, because, the third is like usually when landlords are like, hey. So we had 3 days to figure out how to build a website, and not only build a website, but also get clients to purchase so that we could.
Where did
rent.
you learn how to build a website?
So we
did that
Russell
come
Brunson, he has the
ClickFunnels.
ClickFunnels. So we took like a little course.
Doesn't that cost money?
It
So we had
was-
already purchased the course.
Well, so ClickFunnels does a 2-week free.
Yeah, 2-week free trial.
So we did their 2-week free trial. We already had the domain name, and then they have this thing called the one funnel away challenge. That's $100, and so we spent our last $100 on this 30-day learn how to build a funnel website and go. So we took that course. We actually lived next to a park, so we would go into the park with our laptop and just study and start throwing it out there. Like, it was the worst website you ever saw.
It
But
was
the second we launched it,
terrible.
I think within 10 minutes of launching it, someone placed a full order of dreads, and
What?
we were able to make rent.
Was it like a family or a friend that you guys knew?
No.
Just
we-
random person?
We probably had like 1,500 followers on Instagram at that time, and our
But
website
that's
had
so
been
rare. If you build a
Yeah.
website, like even if you have Instagram followers,
Because
But-
we went and posted, hey, our website is launched, and
so you got a few people who like clicked on the link.
yeah, so we could breathe for a couple days.
Guys, that's wild. You guys
Yeah.
are like literally trying to get every penny you can
Yeah.
at that moment.
literally.
When did you guys start to blow up? So like, at this point,
So that was
Not making any money.
2019, and then so that was 2019, and then 2020, COVID hits, right? And all businesses are stressed; they don't know what's going to happen. So right before COVID had hit, January, we actually decided to make a completely new website using Shopify. So we spent a few weeks learning all of that stuff, made the website like, okay, like it was definitely way
It was
better.
cute.
It was cute, yeah.
your Shopify account was cute?
Yeah, it was cute compared to like our infomercial looking like from the early 2000s website with, yeah, that was interesting.
It worked
Yeah.
for the time being.
So after we had created the website, that was in February, and then March, I think, is when COVID hit.
Yeah.
And we were stressed. Obviously, like everyone was. No one knew what was going on, and
We thought it was the end.
Yeah, well,
We did.
in
We
this
100% thought it
situation,
was
it
the
would
end.
feel like the end.
so what actually ended up happening was that all salons across the U.S. shut down, and no one could get in to get their hair dyed. So what better way to still continue to have platinum blonde hair than to have dreadlock extensions? So our orders, like, we just exploded, like blew up.
It literally 10x'd. Like, whatever
During COVID.
revenue, yeah. So like whatever revenue we had been doing from January and February, literally add a zero onto it, and that's what happened in March and every month after that.
Guys, that's a blessing.
So then
COVID really was the biggest blessing for our business. Like, we are very fortunate that it turned out the way it did.
I would expect it to go the opposite direction
Yeah.
and like just tank completely.
That's
so
what
then
we thought was
we
gonna
had to end up hiring like all of our cousins and our siblings to help us make them because we couldn't make them fast enough. And then we almost got shut. Like, there was so many orders that came in, we had to order a lot more hair, and then the hair got delayed like 4 months. Like, we didn't have supply
that's
for 4
right.
months. We thought we were gonna tank because of that. But luckily, like, we've worked really hard on building a community and just being very transparent. And so people, they were very understanding, like with COVID being a situation and then just like the hair taking forever to come in. And yeah, so it has exponentially grown since then. So since 2020, our company is 3x'd for the last
Every year.
Yeah, every year.
Since you started, really.
Yeah, every year since I started, it's 3x'd. So
You said earlier, your relationship with God has helped you out a lot.
That was the key. That was
Kind of explain that. So, like, what do you mean by like, your relationship with God? How did that help you?
So everyone, like, you hop on Instagram, social media, and everyone always talks about manifesting. And, like, it's a real thing, 100%. Like, if you study quantum physics and all that stuff, manifesting is real.
It's just the modern day version of prayer.
Yep. So
That makes
everything
sense.
that we've prayed for, we've asked God for it, and then we got to work. And then
Did you ever feel like during the times where you guys were at your lowest point, when Etsy gets shut down, did you feel like he wasn't listening?
No,
no,
I never did.
Really?
no. We always knew that we were on the right path, and we knew it was gonna suck at first. And it was cool because like a small little detail of our marriage, when we were getting married, the leader in our church, we were going and asking him for advice and whatnot, just like as we were engaged. And he didn't really know me, but he was her leader down in Spanish Fork. And it was cool because he's like, okay, I know Ellie is really ambitious and she's got a bright future ahead of her. And I've looked at your social media. I know you're going to be successful someday too. And he looked at us and honestly, he said, honestly, I hope it's hard for you guys. I hope you struggle at first, so then you can learn to be grateful once you have the money and the success and everything that you guys ask for.
Do you guys think about that a lot?
I'm
do.
very, very, very grateful for that time period in our life because it makes
Yeah.
it all worth it.
Yeah.
Because if it came easy,
Do you ever feel like you have super good days now and you guys are super busy? Do you ever like look back and
I miss that
reminisce
time
much?
period, honestly.
Yeah, lately, so like, because right now we're growing so much, we just barely closed on a 9,000 square foot warehouse. Just 2 years ago, we were doing it out of an 8 by 6 foot room, a spare bedroom in our basement apartment that we're renting. We did fulfillment, we made the dreads, we shipped them all out. We took pictures of product, everything that had to do with the business we did in that tiny spare bedroom. And 2 years later, we just barely bought a 9,000 square foot
That's
warehouse to do everything out of. And it's like, it's fun because we haven't like let our foot off the gas, I would say, but it was so fun just doing everything out of that tiny, tiny bedroom.
Like I genuinely, I was telling him this the other day, I was like, I miss that time period because there was just so much unknown. It was exhilarating. Like it was like terrifying, don't get me wrong, but like the adrenaline rush that we had all the time was so fun.
How did you guys not let it affect your marriage though? So like, if you're not making money, you're in debt, you quit your job, how did you guys get closer together rather than separating?
That's a really
That's a
good
good
question
question.
because that is something I've noticed that, I mean, that's like one of the top reasons for divorce is finances. I just think it's because we were working together. Like as long as I was with him, I was happy. Like as long as we were working together, I was happy. The only time Dallas and I like struggle with each other and like get snippy with each other is when we're not spending enough like one-on-one time with each other.
Well, you guys have a
So-
lot of time together now, don't
We
you?
spend 24/7 together.
Does that bother you guys at all?
No?
I
You like
married.
that?
There's a reason I married him. Like, I married him to spend time with him. So
That's the thing. Like we have a lot of friends who are like, oh, I could never work with my spouse. It's like,
That's how I feel.
why'd you get married? Why? Like,
Well, I'm not married, but
I
I
know.
just imagine.
but I guess like for the future, it's like if you don't want to spend 24/7 with your spouse, why? Why that person?
That's true.
You know?
It might be your zodiac signs. I don't know, guys.
Yeah. I'm an asparagus. No. So that's like,
it's honestly, it's a great question. I don't have a definitive answer for you, but
we're on the
money
same
does not-
page.
Yeah.
We've written down goals, not every day, but like we've always had a goal. We've always had a clear goal since the day we got married of what we wanted. And so like working together towards those goals, like you're not stressed. It's like, yeah, you may be behind, you may not have the revenue or income that you're looking for, but like every day we were striving to reach those goals. So like being on the same page is communicating and all that.
Yeah.
we
Well,
definitely made sure to like spend like one-on-one time with each other completely away from business. Like when there were hard days, we'd make sure to go up in the canyon or whatever it was, whatever we enjoyed doing together. But working towards goals together instead of here's my goals, here's your goals. Like we write down each other's goals and then we work towards them together.
Do you guys communicate very well?
I mean, we're always learning.
Yeah.
I would say we communicate pretty well, but obviously there's always room for improvement.
And when you talked about goals earlier, that's kind of like a good segue into the next 5 years. Where do you guys see Dreadful Hippie?
Ooh, that's a good question.
We've been trying. Okay, so here's kind of like our background. Dallas and I, we always have a goal board. Like we will take pictures of exactly what we want, or a vision board, whatever you want to call it, and we put it up on the wall, and it's always there. The thing with us is like when people say, oh, I have a 5-year, 10-year goal, it's such a turnoff for me, because why would you limit yourself to 5 years if it's something you could potentially do now? Because most people, they're like, oh, well, I want to buy a house in 5 years. Well, why aren't you working your butt off now so that you can have it in a year or in 3 years? Like, why? People procrastinate. Like, when they say they have a goal that they want to accomplish in 5 years, they're not even going to look at it until about year 4.
Yep.
Well, what's it called? Parkinson's law or something like that? I forget what it's called. It's something similar to that, Parkinson's law or something. I'm totally butchering that. But basically, like, the way it is like you could clean your house in 3 hours, or if you gave yourself 30 minutes, you could clean your house in 30 minutes. But either way, you'll get it done in the time frame that you allot yourself.
That's true. I always say I'm going to get this done by Friday, and then I'll wait till Thursday night to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bad habit.
Yeah.
How do you guys not let that affect you? I feel like that's everybody.
Well,
Everybody does that, right?
Well, that we do get that question a lot, that it's like, where do you see yourselves in Dreadful Hippie 5 to 10 years from now? It's like, well, honestly, I don't know, because every time we think of a 5 to 10 year goal, we literally say, well, what if we can accomplish that in a year? And we make that our year goal, and we end up hitting it. We've hit our goals every single year since we've been married.
Here's the difference, and here's another thing, like, this is something, like, we are obsessed with, is learning, like, just deep diving into goals and how to set them and what an actual goal is. Because I feel like most people think a goal is, like, going to the gym X amount of times. That is not a goal. That is a habit. So, one, being able to distinguish what an actual goal is, and then habits, that's the only way you're going to actually accomplish things.
What is the difference between a habit and a goal?
So a habit is something where, like, okay, a goal is something that you can physically look at and cross off. If you cannot cross it off, it is not a goal. So, like, us getting a warehouse, that was a goal. Like, we have the keys, we own it, like, it's done.
Off your list.
Versus, like, oh, I want to be able to make $100,000 a month. Okay, for how long? Or I want to be able to go to the gym 5 times a week. Okay, for how long? Like, what point do you get to cross that off?
Well, and it's more of like, I want to be able to squat 405 pounds. You know, it's like, that's a goal. But the habit would be to be going to the gym 3 to 5 times a week. Okay. Working legs 2 to 3 times a week.
So a goal, there's a timeline associated with it, where a habit is something you just do every day.
The habit is what will get you the goal.
Okay.
So when we set goals, it's not like we're like, oh, we want to buy a house, we want this, we want that, we want that. Okay, great. So it's on a board and we just set it aside. No, like, we break it down. We basically, like, make a tree effect. So we have, like, our warehouse. So, like, we'll give that as an example. So we found this warehouse 2 years ago, and we've been working towards getting it. So we put the goal, purchase the warehouse, and then we branch down from there. What is going to get us there, and what is the timeline, like, realistic timeline for us to do that? So we were like, okay, so in order to get the warehouse, we need to have, $80,000 for a down payment. Okay, how are we going to get that $80,000 for a down payment? We break down all our finances, see what we can allot to put separate into that savings account for the down payment. Okay, so in order to get that much money, we're going to have to get this much in sales. In order to get this much in sales, we need to be posting this many times a week, or we need to do this many product launches. And it
so
just,
you're breaking it down piece by piece.
It trickles
every
down.
Tiny piece.
Have you noticed it being easier to make goals together?
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm kind of screwed then, right? Crap, I need to find a wife.
No, it's so fun because,
even
like,
if you can just find a friend to set goals with, where you can keep each other accountable.
Yeah.
Like,
That would be helpful. I feel like I'm just like relying on myself, and then I can procrastinate, and I can get it done tomorrow.
I mean, I think it's good to have the discipline to do it by yourself, and then once you find your person, then it's that much easier.
Yeah.
And then you can stretch each other
But
because
some relationships don't have the same goals, so that's
True.
like
It's true.
That's why you
Impressive.
need to figure out.
you got to find the
Yeah.
person.
If that's something that's important to you, you need to find that in the person that you want to marry.
guys. I've been on Tinder. I'm looking for.
You start going to like mastermind, and all that stuff. That's where you'll find her.
How did you guys meet?
I took her roommate on a blind date that was set up by my roommate and his girl.
So you want to talk about manifesting? A week before I meet him or find out about him, I'm venting to one of my friends. I'm like, oh, I just need to find a guy that has a Jeep, that has long hair, and like loves to spend time in the mountain. And I had a goal board, like I had a dream board with like a Jeep on it and like mountains because that was something that I wanted. And so my roommate comes home and she's telling me, oh, I went on this date with this guy and he picked me up in a Jeep and we got all muddy, like hated it, right? And I'm like, that sounds like fun. So I DM'd him. I slid into his DMs and then,
Was your roommate mad at you?
no, they didn't vibe.
We didn't vibe at all. I think the date lasted a total of like 45 minutes before I like took her back home. I'm like, this is... Anyways,
So
she
this was
a nice
this
girl,
was meant
but-
to be then.
Yeah.
So you DM'd him, and did you respond like, "Oh, I dated your roommate"?
No, I basically I was like, who are you? And she's like, oh, I'm Kate's roommate. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like,
The bad date I went on last
yeah,
time.
but that like some funny little thing is like that girl was like, oh, I live with a bunch of like 16 and 17-year-olds. I don't know why it didn't cross my mind that like 16 and 17-year-olds don't live on their own in Provo with
Yeah.
roommates. But that's what she said. So I see Ellie slides into my DMs and I creep on her profile and I'm like, dude, this girl's 16. So I actually cut the conversation. I'm like, I'm not talking to a 16-year-old.
I was not 16.
You thought she was 16.
Yeah.
I thought she was
Okay, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah. So like her feed at the time, she had just gotten done with like a model photo shoot and she had like caked on makeup.
Yeah.
I thought she was like 16. So I was just like, oh, haha, cool. Nice to meet you. End it. End it. She messaged me 2 more times and then I realized that she was not 16, that you were
No
19.
way. You messaged him 2 more times?
Yeah.
Where did you get the courage to message him 2 more times?
I get what I want and I go after it.
It's true.
She's like, I'm not going to stop till he responds.
Yeah. So
Well, you
from there,
responded and it worked out, right?
yeah.
You guys are doing good?
Because I was doing an MLM at the time, and she was smart. She knows how to get what she wants, that's for sure.
I do.
So I was doing this MLM at the time, and she's like, "Oh, I was thinking about joining this company." Like,
Because everything
can you
else I
tell
had
me
tried,
more?
he was just like shutting the conversation down. So I was like,
You joined his MLM just to meet him? Are you-
She did, but like she joined like a few weeks after we actually started dating.
that's how I got him to ask me out, was saying I was interested. And instantly he's like, hey, you want to hang out tonight? I'm like, mm-hmm.
Shallow.
I
Shallow
love that so much.
So
You're just finding sales left and right.
yeah, it was fun. So we went on our first date, had some tacos at Don Joaquin's.
Did I meet you guys right when you guys got married? 'Cause I remember that Jeep.
It was probably a couple months. We probably met like a few weeks in.
Okay.
Because we started hanging out with Bubba and Alyssa.
You guys have always had this confidence about you, though. Like, you guys had it figured out. And even back when I met you, you guys probably were struggling during that whole time.
Oh yeah, we
6
were.
grand in debt, all that
You
stuff.
had, you had no idea. No one knew.
No one knew.
You guys played
Her
it off very
parents,
well.
her parents knew a tiny bit, and that was pretty much it.
Were you guys like, what's that word? Not embarrassed, but were you feeling guilty that you like, just married this girl and now you guys are in debt?
It was
As far
hard.
as like parent wise and family wise, did you feel like you weren't?
No, because like at the time, I had a steady job, but I quit that job the week we got engaged,
Wild.
and then went to the software job.
Oh, okay. So you didn't go straight into Etsy with her.
No,
Etsy, I started in high school.
she had been
Oh,
doing
okay.
Dreadful Hippie for a couple years before I came into the picture.
Cool. That makes sense.
And so, yeah. But like I was saying before, it's like it just made sense. It felt right. And like, yeah, we've always had kind of like this cool, we know we have the X factor, I think is what people call it, where it's like you walk into a room and we feel it. Like we walk into a room and people stop and they look at us. Like
You guys are
in
like
the
Vikings.
humble, like in the most humble way I can say that. We know we have the X factor. We know we have the confidence because we do what we say we're going to do, and like we hit our goals, and it just builds this confidence in ourselves that like you can't deny. And so like you've always heard people say when you know when it comes to like dating and
hate
like
that.
marrying
I hate
someone.
that so much.
I did too.
Until I knew.
I did too, and we're not going to turn this into like this marriage prep for Tanner over here, but like I hated when people would say, well, when you know, and I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But then I met Ellie, and I'm like, well, I know and I know it, so.
Is it a feeling
Yeah.
you get? Is that what it is?
It just
The
felt
night I
right.
met him, I went home and wrote in my notes, this is really weird, but I think I just met the guy I'm going to marry.
Are you serious?
I forgot about that note until the night before we had gotten married. I was looking for wedding details and stuff, and I found that, and I was like, what the heck? Like, I knew. It was so wild.
That is wild. Mm-hmm. So you guys just had this feeling that you guys were going to be together forever.
Yeah.
And then you just went for it. Guys, I can't
She
do
knew
that.
the
I
night-
like a girl. I'm like, oh, you're super attractive. I can be with you forever. And the last 2 days, I'm like, oh, I'm already sick of you.
Yeah.
And I leave. Anyway.
Hey, that's good. Honestly, I think that's
not
great.
good.
Like, because once you find the person, you're going to know,
That's true.
hopefully.
Hopefully.
And
We'll
maybe
get there
you won't
one
know
day.
for 40 years. I don't know.
I'll be 55 when I get married.
But yeah, that's just kind of how it all worked out. It was really cool. Like even on our first date, like she's like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "I grew up in Missouri." And she's like, "Oh, I used to have cousins in Missouri." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, who are they? I probably know them." Just making a joke. And then she starts naming them like a bunch of redheads. And she's like, "There's no way you know them." And then I start naming off all of the rest of their siblings because there was like probably 15 of them that lived.
Grew up with my cousins.
We like grew up
So
like
you already knew her family.
some of them. I knew them because she doesn't really know them because they've always lived in Missouri or Arizona and she's lived in Utah. So I know them better than she knows them.
Watch you guys
I
just be related in like 5 years.
Yeah, seriously.
We already looked. We're like 10 cousins once removed or something like that.
Yeah, we're like cousins from like 400 years ago. Granted, everyone is, but
See, this was meant to be. You knew her family previously. You didn't even know that you knew that at the time.
yeah, it was cool.
Just fell in love. It's a
I like
love
showed her
story.
pictures of me and her cousin at like his 6th birthday party. It's like pirate themed birthday party
What a small world. Where
Yeah.
was that at?
in Missouri. So her
Yeah.
uncle and my dad were business partners like right when the crash happened in '08.
What?
Yeah.
When did you come to Utah?
I moved to Utah 5 years ago.
And you've been here the whole time, right?
Yeah.
That's such a small world. That's wild.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's awesome. I like you guys' love story here that you guys got going on.
It's pretty cute, huh?
Yeah, it is. You're turning it into a business now.
Yeah.
I love that. I do have a couple more questions for you guys and let you guys get out of here. But I want to talk about social media because you guys have, what, 36,000 followers on social media now for your business?
We've got 30, just over, we're almost at 31,000 on Instagram, and she's got 194 on.
I'm like a couple thousand shy of 200,000 on TikTok.
What does that feel like? Is it a different feeling? Or do you guys just not care? Just
It
post more
doesn't-
It
content.
really doesn't matter.
It doesn't,
But it helps your business, right? Like
for
you guys
sure,
are
It
definitely
does.
getting
sure.
more
It doesn't
grateful.
make me
for
feel
it.
different in any way. It's
But like,
kind of
is it
weird.
less stressful? Because you're like, oh, I'm out there. I can just put a post out there and I'll get feedback. I'll get clients to hit me up.
I would say it's less stressful and more stressful at the same time because that's a
Yeah.
lot of people.
It is a lot of people.
And I'm putting myself out there to be criticized by hundreds of thousands of people.
That feeling right there. How do you get over
Millions on
that?
TikTok. How do I what?
How do you get over that fear?
I think what it really boils down to is just being confident in who I am and knowing who I am regardless of other people's feedback. Like I genuinely do not care what other people think about me. And I think that's really people see that and it almost makes people want to attack me more because
Do you get attacked on social media?
Oh boy do I.
Really?
Daily.
Daily.
Who's doing this?
TikTok's relentless.
TikTok
Oh,
is
I
a
can
bunch
see
of
that.
14-year-old, or 12 to 19-year-old keyboard warriors is what I like to call them. Social justice warriors that yeah.
They're really mean to you. That is horrible.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wouldn't like that. Just stop reading the comments.
I appreciate it because it's what gets my videos
Boost the algorithm.
yeah,
Plain.
the funny part is it works in my favor because the more that they interact and comment on my stuff and hate on me and share my stuff it blows my videos up. Like I've had multiple videos hit multiple millions of views because there's literal wars going on in my comment section, and that's what boosts our company more.
Really? So that's actually helping you out.
It does help me 100%, but I think like really what it boils down to be in that industry, you have to have a very tough skin and have to know without a doubt who you are, or it will destroy you.
Yeah, I can only imagine that. I mean, we don't have that many followers, so we're still working on that.
Embrace it. This is the fun part.
Yeah. How did you guys start off, like social media wise? Starting at 0 followers, what kind of made you guys blow up?
I mean, by the time we met, she had 700 followers on Instagram, and that was it. Like, I don't even.
This is 4 years ago?
Yes.
Yeah, that was 4 years ago.
And then his cousin is a YouTuber, and like we went to a festival, and she had some dreads in, and she got us maybe like another 700 to 1,000 followers, and then it just exponentially, like we just started to post more, and it compounds.
That is
And
awesome.
relationships have helped us more than anything, and it always does. Like, a closed mouth doesn't get fed is a really good phrase for that. But we had one of our close friends now, she reached out to us. She reached out to Ellie, like, I think even before we started dating, but Ellie ghosted her because
I was scared.
Really?
So
She
our friend was the biggest hairstylist, probably one of the biggest hairstylists in the nation. She had, at the time, she had like 80,000 something followers, a blue check mark. So it was
I had
intimidating.
people-
All the
She
intimidating
messaged
factor.
me when I
Yeah.
had about 700 followers, and I had people coming up to me in public saying, "Oh my gosh, I heard Christina Kreidel is like you're working with her," and I'm like,
Did
So
she
I
post
was-
something on her story about you?
well, I guess
don't
she
know.
was telling people that she was gonna like partner with me or something, and it
Do, like, a
scared
collab.
me. It scared me
Why would you ghost her?
because it freaked me out. I'm like this little like at that time 19-year-old with 700 followers, and there's this lady who's like a powerhouse of a woman, huge community, like has a huge voice that's heard and a lot of followers and whatever. It intimidated me. So I ghosted her for a year because I was freaked
whole
out.
year?
Yeah. It scared me.
Was she offended when you hit her back up?
No.
No.
She
She's
knew
one of
when
our
we were
best friends
ready.
now. She's one of our best friends now, but
Yeah, she knew when we were ready that we'd reach back out to her. And so we started we put dreads in her. We started doing all of our installs out of her salon. We'd booth rent from her. And
she
so
mentored us a lot.
Did she help you guys out with like social media wise and getting clients?
helped us-
She's taught us everything we know about building a brand and a community on social media. She helped us get out of debt. Like, she literally said, go read this book, go do this, and then come over to my house. We're going to get into the nitty gritty. You guys are going to tell me everything, your monthly payments, all of your Spotify, your Netflix,
We
like
mapped it out, and she helped us get out of debt in I think 4 months.
What?
every dollar
I want to meet
we
this lady.
tracked.
I can teach
She's
you.
awesome.
I can
That would
teach you
be
what
great.
she taught us.
She'd love to come on this podcast if she wants.
That would be really cool. We love it. The more the merrier, man. That's you guys have an amazing story. So you guys literally started 60 grand in debt. 4 years later, you guys are out of debt. You guys are running your own business. Just bought a new warehouse in Springville, right?
Yeah.
9,000 square feet, because that's ginormous. I used to work for security, and we wouldn't be able to help anybody out with over 10,000.
Yeah.
Pushing it.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that you guys like welcomed me on the podcast here and kind of opened up about your story. You could like talk to your 12-year-old self and tell him like, keep going. Like, what would you tell your 12-year-old self at this point in your life?
12-year-old. What was I doing at 12?
So I was probably in 6th grade.
6th grade at 12? Are you like,
Right?
I don't know.
I don't know how that all works.
Let's say your 16-year-old self.
Yeah, I'm like if I was 16, just to work on knowing who I am, to build confidence and not let the opinions of other people form me into the person that I would become. Because at 16, I was very insecure in who I was. Like, didn't know exactly who I was, didn't know what I wanted out of life. Like, I just didn't know. Like, who does at that age, right? The dreadlocks, for whatever reason, they are really what made me feel like who I was. Like, my true self came out, and like, I had friends and stuff that were like, I liked you better when you didn't have your dreads in. Like, you're just not who you are. And I'm like, what they're really saying is they liked my insecure self. Like, I was too bold. I was too myself with my dreads in. So, it was night and day difference.
Are dreads like your saving grace? Like, is that what you found confidence in?
Yeah. because I think, and I was talking about this yesterday, I think confidence really, like, to have a successful life, you have to be confident in who you are. And I think for a lot of people, most people, that starts with the outward appearance. If you don't like the way you look, you're not going to feel good about yourself, which means internally, you're not going to be confident in decision making. You're not going to be confident in anything.
True.
So I think, I mean, really, me personally, having beautiful hair that I loved and looking in the mirror and liking what I saw, it made me love my internal self. And so I'm very confident in every decision I make. I don't need the validation of other people. Like if someone tells me I shouldn't do something, it doesn't faze me. Like if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it regardless of what you think.
I love that. So you found this inner confidence in yourself because is it because you changed your appearance and like started thinking higher of yourself?
Yeah. I mean, it was something that I'd wanted my entire life. Like from the time I was 2 years old, like it's something that I had loved and always wanted, but never could have.
Did you surround yourself with friends that were like that?
Not really.
No, during that time, not at all. I mean, nobody in my connection at that time had actually really like cared for the dreads at all. Like they would always be like, "Oh, I like your normal hair better," because I was a very different person with them in versus out. It was very like
That's crazy
quiet,
how that works though.
shy. I mean, and it's in cultures too. Like throughout history, they talk about like dreadlocks and the power that they hold. Samson in the Bible had 7 locks on his head, and when Delilah, when she cut them, he died because that's where his strength was. And that is through many different cultures. They talk about the power that they hold. So, and like the history that they hold. Like it's like an extension of your internal power. So
Dreads have been around for thousands of years through hundreds of different cultures, and they've all used them for different purposes, whether it was for battle, for spiritual reasons. I believe it was the Hindu religion. They would grow theirs out because they thought that, I guess their belief is that when you grow your dreads out, it holds all the energy in your head. Like there's nowhere for the energy to fall out because it's held on.
It's locked into your head.
Do you feel a difference as well when you have them in?
Yeah, I love wearing them.
Really?
Like usually when we go to like business conferences or something, I'll put them in, and it's because we stand out so much, it's hard to not be recognized. Like wearing the dreads have helped us so much because people see us and then they're like, who are these guys? I want to get to know them. So it's opened the doors for us a lot. And I just like wearing them because it like looks cool, feels good. What she was saying, like you look good, you feel good, and our whole brand, like if I could say this to the followers or listeners, watchers, whatever, viewers, and to my 16-year-old self, it's like building the confidence in yourself and your personal brand will open the doors exponentially, like as you continue on your journey. So like our entire brand is built off of confidence. It's not built off of synthetic dreadlocks. Because if you like break it down, our product is just twisted hair.
It's plastic. There's nothing significant about it at all.
But it's the way that you feel.
Same with makeup though, but it changes the way
It's
people
the
look.
way it makes you feel.
Yeah.
If you feel good, you'll feel good about everything.
But like everything that we've done has been geared towards the word confidence. So every post we make on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, it's helping our community build confidence in themselves. And we like break it down. It's like, because everyone always says like, I feel so much more confident in the dreads. It's like, well, why is that? It's like, for one thing, you spent the money to buy them. You said you wanted them, you got them, and you put them in, and now you're walking around.
You get compliments everywhere.
But like,
amazing. I
confidence,
want dreads now, guys.
yeah. Confidence comes from doing the things that you say you're going to do. When you don't do them, you lower your confidence in yourself. Like if you were to say, like you personally, like, oh, I want to start a podcast, but then you never did, your confidence would go down. That's a fact.
Yeah.
But like, so with us, it's like, well, I want to get dreads. Our customers feel confident once they get the dreads because it's like, I did that. I saved up the money to get it because we know it's an investment. It's not easy. We know it's not going to be easy. It's not supposed to be easy, but building the confidence, because for us, it's like, well, I want to build a successful brand. step by step, day by day, post by post, whatever it is, you do that. Like,
Have you
keep
seen a
your
lot of
word.
change in people that you've helped out?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Really?
Thousands.
That's amazing. So you're just helping people all over the world, men and women, right? Both?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you can do dreads, guys can do dreads, women can do dreads. I'm going to get dreads, guys, one day. I'm going to do it this
Do it.
time. I signed up last time. I failed on you, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
My hair's too short right now. It's like this long, but when it's
Give it a
longer.
few months.
Yeah.
The why behind Dreadful Hippie is to empower people.
I love that.
Not just to give them confidence in the way they look, but to empower them to be confident, to have the life that they want. Like, I like selling dreadlocks, like, cool, whatever. Like, nothing significant about that. There's other people who sell them. But what makes us stand out is the fact that we have a community of people who back each other, they support each other, they empower each other. There's something very unique and special that comes from like being validated or empowered by people you've never met. Like, your mom's obviously always going to tell you you're cute, you're her kid, right? But when you hear that from like a stranger, or like when someone completely random comes up to you and says, hey, like, you stand out, or like there's something different about you, or like I love your hair, like, that's so validating, because you're like, okay, so what, like, it's true. So we just really want to help people be empowered to make decisions in what they do and be confident behind that. And we want to show people how to live the life that they want. Like, that's why we love sharing our stories, because we came from nothing. Like, we had nothing.
Less than nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys
60 grand of
owe
debt
nothing.
running from
You guys
the repo
owe 60
man.
grand of nothing.
It's like, it's possible, anyone can do it, but most people, like, it's hard when you're not confident in yourself to like take that plunge. So we just want to be those people, or we want to be the people for those people that backs them, that empowers them and says like, hey, you do have a community and we're here for you and we will support you 100% of the way, and do the best that we can to help you achieve that. So
If you go on our social media and like look at our posts, our captions aren't, hey, go buy our dreads. It's, hey, here's how we feel confident, or like, this is like, there's a few posts where we even share how we break down our goals. Like, we have a lot of entrepreneurs that follow us, not to buy or watch or like look at our dreads, but because we literally break down and give the value of like how we've gotten where we've gotten in our posts. And so like builds this community.
Does that help build like trust in your company, like in
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
you guys are?
like, I don't want to teach people how to have beautiful hair. That's not what I was put on this earth to do. That's not what I want to do.
It's just a byproduct.
I want to teach people how to, if it's what they desire, to start a company, or to be a great mom, or to be a great dad, or like whatever their goal is. I want to teach them how to set appropriate goals and how to achieve them, and then give them step-by-steps on how to do it, and have the community back them. That is my drive. Like, it is so, like, we've had a couple of friends who've come to us asking for help on how to start companies, and we've done the best that we can, and we've helped them, create websites or find suppliers or whatever it is, and that is so rewarding to me. Seeing that we've sold, thousands of dreads, that is not rewarding to me.
Did you have anybody help you guys out when you guys first started?
Yes, Christina Kreidel was the mentor, the lady that I was talking about.
That's right.
I was intimidated by her because she knew who she was, and I, at that time, didn't really exactly, I didn't pinpoint down who I was. And so people who are powerhouses are intimidating.
Do you feel like a responsibility now to help other people?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That is
it's our
why.
moral obligation at this point to do what she did for us. We're trying to do that to other people.
That's
Or
awesome.
for other
That's
people.
that's where I see fulfillment.
Is there a lot of competition right now with dreads in this area or in Salt Lake?
Not
No.
in the area. We've had a few copycats locally, but it's like nothing that we're worried about. There's a few like stores and
Can't outdo the original.
That's right.
can't-
I feel like I've never met anybody else that does dreads besides you guys, like at least in Utah. Like if you go to Jamaica, it's probably a different story. But
it's like we're more than like do it, like
Yeah.
we don't mind, but just don't copy who we are. Don't try to be us. Do your own thing, sell your dreads, make your dreads, whatever. But yeah, there's a couple stores in like the UK and Russia, but it's like we have our community. We like they have their community, we have our community. We're just focused on us. We don't even like look at them. We know they're there, but we don't think about them or anything. It's just like, okay, we've got our community to focus on and work on and empower and all that. So
I love you guys' vision. I can feel like the passion coming from you when you're talking. You guys really believe in what you're doing, and I think it's amazing.
thanks.
This has been with Dreadful Hippie. Do you guys have anything more you'd like to say to anybody out there? Anything about the business? Anything coming up?
I think the one thing is just give. Like, give, and you will receive. Like, that's a lot of opportunities that we've had recently is because we have just made sure to always give. And I mean, it's Dallas's favorite analogy, I guess you would call it. Like, a plant has to give off oxygen, right? But in order for it to give, it has to receive carbon dioxide, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. So, like, if you give, you have to receive. So at some point, it will come back around.
It's like we have to give the carbon dioxide to the plants in order to receive oxygen.
Yeah. So we have to give in order to get, pretty much.
So
Yeah.
just
And the more you give, the more you receive. That's a fact
I
of the
love
matter.
that.
It's a universal law. It's something that God set in place. He's taught it many times.
I got to give more. We got to start giving, guys.
Yeah.
You guys heard it here from
Ask
Ellie
and
and
you shall
Dallas.
receive.
give more and ask God more, and your life will be very blessed.
And get to work.
Get to work. So give more, get more, ask God, and get to work.
Yeah.
I love that.
Even if you don't expect to receive, you have to receive the oxygen
Yeah.
in order to give off the carbon dioxide. If you're out there building a brand, eventually you will get paid for it. And the second we started giving value to our community is when our debt went away.
That's amazing.
Like that's the fact.
Guys,
of
in
the matter.
4 years to pay off 60 grand, that's
Well, that happened in 4
impeccable.
months.
In 4 months?
The
Yeah.
debt went away in 4 months.
Granted,
A whole different podcast, but that's amazing. Guys, that's way too fast. How did you guys? Anyway, it doesn't matter. You guys did it. You guys paid it off. And you guys' shop blew up now. Dreadful Hippie with Ellie and Dallas. You guys can check them out on Instagram at Dreadful Hippie. Just look it up, Dreadful_Hippie.
no, it's
Is that right?
just Dreadful Hippie with 2 L's. It's like dread, the word full hippie.
Dreadful Hippie. And if you're watching this podcast, it'll be right under the link below. I'll tag them in it.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome, guys. Thanks for coming. 9 a.m. I love that. Please have a good day. Like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys in episode number 9. Have a good day.